So in the last video, I told you guys about Trump wanting to build a golden arch, no, not McDonald's, but an actual arch in DC. And many people felt like this wasn't real, like it just seemed so crazy. Oh, I tell you, it's all too real. Trump invites ballroom donors to glitzy White House dinner. And now we've got video. Check this out.
What it would look like in either of the three, any of the three sizes, which is right now, I don't know if you can see. So that's Lady Liberty. Lady, did you ever hear of Lady Liberty? On top. But, so the sizes would be very different. That is Lady. And this is sort of facing this way. And so we have this direct line. They did this and into that. So this would be, I go, small, medium, and large. Medium and large. And whichever one will look good. I happen to think the large one's much fun. Why are you shocked?
I know, as crazy as it sounds, they're actually going to go ahead with this thing. I don't think they've broken ground yet, to my understanding, but he was sharing renderings of it before. Again, this is like a golden arch. Lady Liberty, according to them, are going to be at the top. And this is pictures of the party. So what it is, I talked about in the last video, but they're having a party at the White House, tech bros and various interests, right? Trump donors are trying to get their pet projects passed through. That's basically what it boils down to. And Trump is promoting his golden arch thing here. And I'm showing you guys this because I want you to see, what it looks like. I know it's different when we look at images of what we were just talking about happening. Like I knew this stuff was going on, but then when you see like there's the dinner, everything's gold. Trump was, earlier this week was waving the arches thing around. And then they're tweeting out today like sombreros. It's like the White House is ruled by a bunch of 13-year-olds. I mean, seriously. They call it sombrero of truth. Hang in there, Jeffries and Schumer, right? Trump was right about everything. So while the government is shut down and federal workers have to take side gigs, be it Uber, you have military standing in food lines, Trump is talking about building golden arches and trolling people with sombreros. I bring this stuff up because I know a lot of you have to talk to, MAGA family members and friends on a daily basis, and it can be really frustrating, right? Some people said they've lost friendships and lost contact with people over this stuff because it's hard to get them to see the light. I really know. And so I just want to tell you guys the truth about this stuff, so you have someone to talk to about, because I get frustrated too. I just never thought I would see this kind of stuff in the USA. I mean, this just open corruption. I mean, there's any number of things that Trump could be doing with his energy and time, but it's all about putting money into his pockets. So for example, they made some promise. It says here, Medicare doctor directory, a Trump team priority, launches with errors. Of course it does, right? So that's essentially their game plan. Trump will make big promises, right? If it's to help the regular people, they'll either understaff it, underfund it, or just basically undercook it. And the ultimate end goal for this people then is to privatize everything as much as they can. And all the tech bros are flying around and going, oh, we got to get all of our AI and crypto and all of these, new innovative products. That's what they call it. But what ends up being is a bunch of data centers. This whole game is about data centers at the moment, right? AI data centers, desperate for electricity, are building their own power plants. So in order to do that, get your own power plants, you got to get a bunch of deregulation. You got to make friends with the government, all these kind of things. So this is actually a map from a couple years ago. It says shares of electricity consumed by data centers in 2023 for each state. Now it's going to vary by state, and I think ultimately these things are going to be everywhere if the tech bros get their way. And they're in the White House now, funding the ballroom and the golden arch, I guess. On top of that, let me give you some numbers here. It's interesting regarding the U.S. and data centers. It says the growth is intense. The U.S. had around 522 hyperscale data centers at the end of the second quarter, okay? Which account for around 55% of global capacity. So the U.S. has actually quite a lot of these things. Another 280 are expected to come online through 2028. Now, when Trump promises you a bunch of jobs, it'll be jobs building these things, the data centers, right? But the jobs will be temporary because after you finish building the job, there will be no job left for you managing the data center. You don't need that many people doing it. And remember, the ultimate goal then is to replace you, the workers. Obviously, this stuff is completely unsustainable, but unfortunately, not enough people are calling it out to say what's going on, right? Corruption plus the technology to try to replace workers just doesn't seem to add up. Then you have this talking about energy concerns. The data center consumed less than 2% of U.S. electricity before 2020, but by 2028 could use as much as 12% of U.S. electricity, right? So all these plans that they plan to build this new stuff is going to take a lot of power. And so they're sort of worrying about, will there be a power shortage? This person actually has some interesting thoughts on that. This is someone who studies this stuff. Says if the grid doesn't have power and you need to generate compute capacity, what are your alternatives? And according to this, he expects the U.S. power shortage to last around 3 to 5 years. Power shortage. So chances are your energy costs will go up as more and more of these data centers will come online. And if there's any complaints, that's why many of these tech companies or tech bros or whatever would want to basically get in with the Trump administration, right? Do it while the bribing is open corruption, right? Do it when you can do it, right? Build those arches, build those ballrooms. That's why Trump wants to do all this stuff. So just so you understand the thorough through of how this is working. Then you got this, which is also concerning. There's a lot of concerning stuff today, and I feel like the Trump people are getting really aggressive today and this week during the shutdown. Trump then is reorganizing the IRS to basically go after political opponents. That's basically what it boils down to, right? Trump team plans IRS overhaul to enable pursuit of left-leaning groups. And then while you're at that, you want to figure out ways to create wars, right? So this is the Venezuela stuff. Have a listen to what Trump has to say.
Why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged...
Well, I can't do that, but I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the... they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given. Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? But I think Venezuela is feeling heat, but I think a lot of other countries are feeling heat too. We're not going to let this country, our country, be ruined because other people want to drop, as you say, their worst. They have given us their worst.
It's crazy that Trump talks about, country being ruined when he's the one who's ruining it. I mean, isn't it ridiculous? Trump authorized CIA covert operations in Venezuela. And then the question is, are we going to use the military to do land strikes or something like that? The whole thing is disturbing and upsetting. I'll just be frank with you guys. I've seen a lot of in my time, but I just haven't seen all this happening all at once. Again, we're firing people. We're promising a bunch of, basically ends up being, ephemeral jobs, temporary jobs, that kind of thing. And we're starting wars to distract people, in my opinion. There are some people, though, however, that do have integrity in USA, which is good to see. I want to make sure it's clear you're not alone. If you're watching this channel, you're not alone. It says right here, reporters leave Pentagon en masse after refusing to sign on to new rules. So basically, hey, except the Pentagon wanted people to, sign this loyalty pledge thing. Don't report on stuff that we don't want you to report on. And this is at a time when things are really crucial that we get information, right? What exactly is going on with Trump and his war at Venezuela? Why aren't people pushing back enough? Like, how is that both the military and our intel going along with this? And then you have the open corruption, say, with the ballroom stuff, and then building a golden arch. There's just no way this is going to have a good ending. I'm just pretty frank with you guys. It's really ugly, and then now people are going to be losing their health care. The government is still shut down. Regular people are just hurting right now. And I'll just say this, that's sort of why I think it's important to make these videos, is that if you're working with the Trump administration now, Trump will be a stain on you for the rest of your life, right? You will be remembered as hurting America, hurting the world, and destroying things that people have built over decades. And the most simplest ways to talk about this stuff is like, you're part of these mass layoffs, illegal wars, unconstitutional actions, and is that what your legacy to be? So I encourage Americans out there to, stand up for your rights. Do not follow legal orders, and just raise awareness on this stuff. I can scream this top of my lungs about everything that's happening every day, but I just want to talk to you like a regular person. There's things we can disagree on in the USA. There's things we can disagree on in politics, but certain basic things like whether or not we want corruption. I mean, I think that should be something that we don't want. But I'll let you guys be the judge of that. I just want to have a real conversation on this stuff. And, the stuff of like starting the legal wars, it's all so crazy. And it seems to be spiraling more than I even thought would happen. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear your thoughts, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.